We're one of 3 intergenerational daycares in Canada. We're a little bit different. We're part of an Eden philosophy. So the David Lloyd Jones building runs under an Eden philosophy. That means if they surround the residents here with plants and animals and children, it'll be more of a home environment and more fulfilling for them rather than an institutional environment. So the children are an integral part of the building, and we're welcomed upstairs and part of the daily living of the building. So upstairs there's plants and animals, and we come up and interact with the residents. So once a week there's a structured activity with the residents, trying to involve them and work together. We do sporting events or art or baking and that, and it's really great to see both groups work together. They have similar interests and have a lot of fun together, and it's a real special bonding time for both groups. It is unique, and it's a very special environment that we're in, and we feel really lucky to be part of it. It's a learning experience for our children. Our children have learned so many things from the residents. Just the talking with people and respecting their elders, that everyone's different. As you can see, we have residents in wheelchairs with standing frames, hearing aids. Our children have become so accustomed to it that it's nothing out of the ordinary for them. And my hope is that when they get older in life, that they'll appreciate the elders and really see them as a learning point that they can go and turn to.
It's absolutely amazing. You can see the kids interacting with the residents. There's no difference with anyone. Everyone is equal, and they're just grandmas and grandpas. And when the children are out in the community, then there's nothing to be afraid of if they see someone with a walker or with a wheelchair, as well as with the residents. A lot of them don't have young grandchildren around, so it gives them that fulfilling part of their lives. I've had both of my children through the daycare program. My son is now 10 and my daughter's now 7, and they still come into the home and want to peek down in the daycare, and then they spend time on the floor here. So it gave them a whole different understanding of different issues with the grandmas and grandpas, as we call them, and they quite look forward to coming back to seeing Kim and the other staff in the daycare. So yeah, pretty special. They were both here for a couple of years each. So.
Well, when a resident that the children have been extremely close to pass on, we talked to them about how that they were not well and how the doctors couldn't help them anymore, and that they've passed on. The children, depending on their relationship with that resident, will bring the children up for the celebration of life, and we've approached each one differently. We had one grandma who sat out here every day, and so the children wanted to buy her a bench so she could sit outside with them after she passed on. So we have a Grandma Betty bench in our playground, and one special one was Grandma Margaret. The children were very close to her, and when she passed on, we asked the children how they wanted to celebrate her life, and one of the little boys, Will, who was 4 at the time, said he wanted to send her flowers, and kind of challenged me on how we were going to do that. And I asked him how we would do that, and he said, let me think about it for a while. And he went off and played, and about half an hour later he came back to me and he said, I know what we can do. We can put flower seeds in balloons, and we can send the balloons up to heaven, and Grandma Margaret can plant her own flowers. So we did. We tied seed packages to the balloons and had Margaret's husband come here, and the children released the balloons and sent the flowers up to heaven for Grandma Margaret. About 2 weeks later, one of the birds passed away, and we were talking about the bird going to heaven. Will was very worried that the bird would eat the seeds, and so we had to send bird seeds up to heaven so the bird would have seeds and not eat Grandma Margaret's flower seeds. So we did solve the problem that Will was quite upset about. But it's really interesting for them to get that calming, and they seem to understand, not to the exact reason of death and that, but that they seem to be able to talk about it, and we're quite open with them about that, and talk to the families as well. And we always let all the families know first that someone's passed on and how we'll approach it with the children. But it's a cycle of life, and it's important for them to understand that as well, and it does teach them that here. I think the seniors are quite invisible, especially to children in our society. When I grew up, it was nothing to have, live with your grandparents in a home, but now that's changed so much, and with people traveling all over the world and separated. So I think that this really brings to life the importance of seniors and brings that family environment right here into the center. And for a lot of these residents, they don't see their grandchildren, so it's just that little bit of attachment to a child that will brighten their lives, and for the children learning that seniors have an important part in our society and are active people still, able to do things. And I think that's a great learning experience. We have some children who have gone through our daycare who now come back here in Candy Stripe. They're 15 and 16 years old and saw that importance, and that was ingrained in them. So it's nice to see that there's a value to the children who are here, and that they see it later on in life as well.